Hello and welcome into another episode of Popcorn for Breakfast. We have a jam-packed, stuffing-packed, cranberry sauce-packed Thanksgiving special for you today. We've got a mystery movie review. That's right, it's a mystery review. You will have to wait until the time comes to figure out what we're reviewing, but I will just give you a little hint. It is a little bit Thanksgiving-y, kind of, I think. We will also get you all caught up in what's poppin', and we will wrap up the show with a very contentious bracket of Thanksgiving sides. We got a lot to get to, so let's do it. Thank you for joining us on the Thanksgiving special of Popcorn for Breakfast with your co-host, Kirk.
Hello, hello.
I am your other co-host, Cam. We have had the longest layover that we've ever had in between episodes since the start of this podcast. 4 weeks. 4 weeks. And I'll just do a little story time on why that happened. So, first of all, there are no movies in the world. We all know this. It's like slim pickings galore, and I wasn't about to watch Money Plane. That was not Kirk, have you heard of Money Plane?
I've not heard of it, but it sounds disgusting.
Oh man. Maybe we should watch Money Plane because I think it's supposed to be pretty terrible, like Sharknado terrible, so bad.
You can't just tease that. Give us a little snippet. What's Money Plane about?
Well, it's about there's money on a plane. It's kind of like Snakes on a Plane. Like, it tells you all about it. They even say, like, Money Plane at one point in the movie. Kelsey Grammer is in it. He's, like, the only person that I know who's in that movie. And
Denise Richards.
Oh, Denise Richards is in it?
Surprise.
I didn't know that. Wow, that is surprising.
This movie is Matthew Lawrence? Hold on.
The Lawrence brothers.
I'm in. I'm all in.
Yeah, I only saw the trailer, and I was like, wow, that looks just absolutely terrible. But, whenever there's money on a plane, antics can ensue. Whenever there's lots of money on a plane, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, where can I watch this thing?
I think you have to purchase it. I think it's like one of those Prime Video cinema things. It's probably like $20. Anyway, we'll look into that. Maybe we will watch Money Plane. All right, I was a little bit presumptuous there, but besides Money Plane, there are like no movies right now. So we were gonna wait for Mank, and I got confused thinking that Mank came out on November 13th on Netflix. It actually doesn't come out till December 4th. So got bamboozled there. Then we tried to do a makeup episode, scheduling conflict. Here we are, a month later.
Yes,
we're here.
Yes.
But that's okay.
I am as bored as that story takes place because it's so annoying. It's so annoying. There's so many dumb things. It should be simple as the world is still kind of basically shut down. But I'm super glad to be here today.
Yeah, and I also feel like I think we have reached the peak boredom period of the pandemic.
Yes.
I think it is actually, like, I've been bored throughout the pandemic, but I actually think my boredom is at its highest level now.
Right. Because normally we have all of these kind of mediocre films and TV shows that are going straight to Netflix, straight to Prime and everything. And they would be much stronger contenders in the entertainment world if we had the big blockbusters on the screen. And we just don't have that many of them. So it's trying to find something to watch.
And we've hit the point now where we've dried up all of the content that was made pre-COVID. And so now there's nothing left. And everything that is coming out is still in production or is shelved for the foreseeable future because of COVID. So it's there's just nothing. And there's no sports. There's just football, which is only once a week. And yeah, it's just terrible. And also, the movie news has slowed down. There's, no news. I mean, social media has been so hard lately because we just like there's no stories at all.
Yeah, it's a wasteland out there, everybody.
Yeah, like the Pink Panther reboot. Like I posted about that. If it was this time last year, that would never have cleared. That would never be posted.
Yeah, what word did you post with it?
Finally. I was like, finally, this is what we've been asking for. The Sonic the Hedgehog director to bring back the Pink Panther like we've never seen him before.
I've imagined you when you saw that news, curled up on your couch and triumphantly standing and throwing off whatever food you had and screaming,
yeah. Terrifying my wife. Like, what?
Yes.
Like, oh, the Pink Panther is finally coming back. It's about time.
And she takes the kids and runs away as fast as possible.
I was so offended by that being a story that I didn't even include it in What's Poppin' because I didn't want to mention it, but here we are. I mentioned it.
Yeah, just snuck in there like a Pink Panther would.
Yeah, it's a crime against humanity. So yeah, peak boredom right now. Peak boredom. But here's what I will say. I'm in a book club with my friends. We just started it. It's like we read self-help books. Wow. So I'm just a nightmare to be around for my wife right now. Just like a total nightmare. I just walk around and I'm like, listen, Jackie, you just said like, oh, we have to make dinner. That's thinking with a scarcity mindset. You need to flip that and think of that with an abundance mindset. Like we get to make dinner. We get to eat food. And she's like, oh my gosh, please stop. And I read this book. One of the self-help books I read was about like building habits and like building good habits and breaking bad habits. Which all these books have been helpful. I will just say, like I'm doing well, but it's got to be just insanely annoying because one of the things that the habits book told me to do was to learn my tendencies by saying them out loud. So I've literally like for a couple days was walking around the house like, go to the bathroom, brush your teeth, take a shower, like saying what I was doing out loud like an insane person. Cameron, so that's where we're at.
I think we're stumbling upon the next greatest movie script, just like a self.
Oh, really? Yeah, could be.
I've
had a few movie ideas. While in quarantine.
Yes. Have you written them down to make sure they don't run away from you?
No, of course not. No, okay. Of course not. They will fly out of my head and they will be gone forever. And somebody will make that movie and I will be like, oh, yeah, that was me.
You're immediately going against your self-spoken tendencies of your habits. So you should be able to just speak your thoughts as soon as they come into your mind. So, I mean, if I was grading you, this would be rough.
Yeah, so. I know. It's early, Kirk. You got to give me time. You got to give me time to learn. You know, I'm still growing.
We'll see.
And I just think, like, as far as movie concepts go, I still haven't written The Crisis Papers yet, which is a movie that I've mentioned on this podcast before. And I don't feel like it would be fair to that amazing, like, sure to be Oscar award-winning project to write another movie before I write that one in all of its entirety.
The Crisis Papers are my favorite thing.
Yeah. So just to recap, for those of you who are maybe new to the program, let's talk about The Crisis Papers. This is a movie concept that I had. So Kirk and I, we have background in the hotel industry.
Yes.
And in the hotel industry, and really anywhere, I would assume, there are like contingency plans if stuff goes crazy. So one day when I was bored at the hotel with Kirk, I found this folder called it's literally set on it, Crisis Papers. And I was like, wow, that's a baller. That is a baller movie name. That would be an incredible movie. And everything in there was like earthquake, what to do, tsunami, what to do, like tornado, what to do. And so I had this idea of like almost like a Night at the Museum type movie, only much better, where like this bored hotel clerk finds the Crisis Papers and begins reading them. Or it's actually kind of like Jumanji, actually.
Yep.
As he reads them, they start to unfold around him. So like he reads the earthquake part, earthquake starts happening. He has to use the Crisis Papers to survive the earthquake. I feel like it could be good. I feel like it could be a franchise. I don't know.
Oh my goodness! Well, because then the Crisis Papers you would attempt to destroy them, and you would think that they didn't survive the fire, but they did, and some crazy mad scientist scooped them up and took them away, and they just travel around the world. It's perfect. It's really
it could go. I mean, we're talking. I mean, what do you think, Kirk? 5, 6, 7 movies, easy.
Oh, if Fast and the Furious is on like film 19 going to space, Crisis Papers can have 30 of these bad boys.
Easily. It's the next MCU.
Yes.
It's going to be huge. So anyway, I just don't feel like I can start on any of these other movies until that masterpiece, my magnum opus, is documented. And Kirk, you and I are going to write it together, and we might even star in it. I don't know. We might have to.
Oh, we have to. We absolutely have to.
It's ambitious, but I think we could be the first duo ever to write, direct, and star in an Academy Award-winning Best Picture film. I don't know.
The very first. That's right.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, with that iron in the fire, I feel pretty good about our prospects. I mean, I just really think we're on the right track. So, anywho, I'm in the book club, and I'm a nightmare because I'm a psychopath. I talk about things out loud. I scold my wife for using scarcity mindset versus abundance. It's insane.
Yeah.
Also, since we talked last, this is crazy. The Mandalorian is here, Kirk.
Mm-hmm. It sure is.
I know. It's nuts. And have you gotten to check it out?
I have. It really snuck up on me, honestly. Like when it dropped, I was like, oh.
Yeah.
It's here?
Like, oh, yeah, that's the thing.
There was no fanfare, not really.
No, there wasn't. It's true.
I just expected there to be more. There was probably less fanfare because there's nothing. Well, there's like no live sports. I imagine that Mandalorian would have been plastered all over live sports, and
that's true.
The marketing just wasn't there because no one has much money to do that right now. So I'm
and like who's watching live TV right now?
No chance.
No one.
No chance. So yeah, I'm a couple episodes in. I am behind. I will say that. So don't spoil it for me. Not that we would.
I will not. Never.
Fans.
I am vowed to secrecy.
I think you got spoiled on the very first episode.
I did by my nephew. My nephew Beckett came over, and he was like, "Hey, Uncle Cam, have you seen The Mandalorian yet?" And I was like, "Oh, episode 1." I was like, "No, I tried to start it, but it was Disney Plus was glitching that first day that it came out. It drove me nuts. I was like about to lose my mind. But anyway, I couldn't get all the way through it because it was glitching. And he's like, "Oh, did you see the part where he like let up this huge spoiler?" I'm like, "Yeah, no. I mean, I told you I didn't finish the episode, and I assume that that's like the big thing that happens. So no, I didn't see it." So it was pretty funny. He's 9, so I mean, it was pretty funny. Or yes. He will be 10.
Almost 10, yeah. Wow. You gotta love how kids get so excited about the secrecy and the twists at that age. Not 9 and 12. His older brother. It's so fantastic. They're like, dude, this is they have no impulse control. They have to let it out, even if they don't want to spoil it for you. It just rolls out.
Well, yeah, and this is like one of his first chances to really level with me, and because like he's watching a show that I'm watching, right? Which is like, for someone his age, is like, this is a new thing for him, like to be able to watch like adult centric shows, and so he just could not help it. He was like, he was like, well, I got to tell you, I have to tell you because it's amazing, and it didn't end up really ruining anything. It was just kind of funny.
Right.
Yeah, but what's your vibe on The Mandalorian so far? I know you said you're a couple episodes behind, but what's your take on the show quality, the trajectory? What are you feeling?
I tell you what, man, I watch a lot of shows on my iPad. Shows and movies on my iPad because I stay up way too late, and I go to bed with my wife, and she falls asleep promptly at like 10:30, and I'm like, no, I need to stay awake until at least 2 to consume all the entertainment. And I put the iPad on my chest like so, and I watch my shows and my stories. But
your programs,
my soaps. I watch my soaps. But what I accidentally did the other day was I was my neck kind of hurt, so I turned it on the TV. Man, is it way better to watch The Mandalorian on a full giant screen TV. So
yeah, man.
I will say that I wasn't enjoying the first episode of season 2, and I threw it up on the big screen, and I was like, oh, this is way better, because especially season 2, episode 1, it's definitely a spectacle episode.
Yes.
And the story,
high production value.
Yeah. And the story really kicks in episode 2. Dude, it's great. It's fantastic. Edgar Wright directs one of the episodes, which he was the director of Ant-Man.
Or no, not Edgar Wright.
No, whoops.
What's his name?
What's
his name? Who's the Peyton Reed?
Peyton Reed. Sorry, had the wrong Ant-Man director there.
No, that's all right.
Peyton Reed. Yeah, Peyton Reed directs it. Stellar, absolutely stellar. And I just started the first few minutes. Bryce Dallas Howard directs an episode, and it's already off to a good start. So I'm right in the meat of the liftoff of this season, and I'm super excited.
Yeah, I think I share your beliefs. I think it's been really good. I think in general, production value is really high, which I love. It's looked great. I think all of the different directors have done a really good job and had a different feel without it feeling like clunky. And I feel like it just feels like a little bit more mature of a show, which is natural. But I was honestly like, I liked season 1 a lot, but I still felt like it was like they were holding back a little bit. Like they were playing it really safe, which is fair.
Campy at times, yeah.
Yes, yeah. There were like so many of those side episodes that really felt like wasted filler. And now like we still get those side missions because any good show will really have that. But they feel more intentional and with more purpose now. And like, we're not just getting them just to kill time. It's like we're actually getting character development. So that's kind of nice. And like that stuff is coming up like later on in the season. It just overall feels like a much more mature show, which makes me feel better because I was like, man, I hope Disney doesn't just like play this way too safe and get comfortable with it, because that I think sometimes it's dangerous. And I get why they tread lightly with Star Wars, but I really think that Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, the guys who are doing the really good Star Wars stuff right now, they have something figured out here, and they should just let them roll with it because it's good. It's just really good. So,
indeed.
Pretty excited because the next episode of The Mandalorian is titled The Jedi. That drops this week. It's titled The Jedi. So I'm pretty stoked about that.
Wow.
Yeah. So we'll see. Hopefully that's not just like a huge tease, because I earmarked that as soon as I saw it, and I was like, this better be awesome. So we'll see what happens. Might be getting a Rosario Dawson sighting, I think.
Maybe.
So that's The Mandalorian. We'll keep you guys updated on that. We're definitely down to chat about it. If you guys want to hit us up on social, we love to talk about it. It's a great show. It's very much like the only thing going right now. The only thing except The Queen's Gambit on Netflix. Kirk, have you heard about this? This is New York's hottest new club, the Queen's Gambit.
New York's hottest club is The Queen's Gambit. Yeah. It's got everything.
It's got everything. Knights, rooks.
It's 17th
but seriously. Anya Taylor-Joy is in this. She's the star of the show. Netflix announced yesterday that this series was viewed by 62 million people in its first, sorry, I want to get this right. What was it, first 2 weeks or first 30 days or something like that?
Yeah.
Which is a record for a limited series. So that's really impressive because they've had some really good shows over the years, and 62 million people is nothing to sneeze at. So that's a huge deal. But have you gotten a chance to check it out yet?
No.
Okay. Well, you must. Like, seriously, stamp of approval. It's very good.
I know.
And it's a limited series, and I like that. I think it's my favorite medium, man. I think a limited series is just right in that sweet spot between movie and TV show where you get like the satisfaction of like a slow burn that you sometimes don't get in movies, but you also don't get it to where like you have 7 seasons and 50% of the episodes are filler. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like... It's really right in that sweet spot. Like I watched Godless. I mentioned that on the podcast last time. And it was perfect. It was like 8 episodes, really concise. It was long enough. It was like as long as it needed to be to tell the story, but no longer. You know, It was like right in that like perfect spot.
Concise. Yeah.
Yeah, perfectly concise. So that's what I like about the Queen's Gambit. Anya Taylor-Joy apparently said that she's like down for another season, and I'm like, no, please don't ruin it. Like we got a nice concise show, like please let us have this and please let it just stay good.
Yep. So, don't ruin it, guys.
So for those of you who have not checked out the Queen's Gambit, I definitely recommend it. We're not going to review it because it's a TV show and we don't do that yet, but yeah, I'd put it on your list if you're as bored as I am right now, because I'm super bored. All right. You want to jump into what's popping, Kirk? We've not got much going on. Let's do it.
Let's go.
We've not got much, but Kirk.
But
we've got some big whoppers, okay? So it's quality, not quantity this week. That's the name of the game. First big news story that came out over the last few weeks is that a decision has finally been reached on Wonder Woman 1984. It had been pushed back. They were trying to figure out what to do. It was originally supposed to come out July 4th weekend, got pushed back to November, then got pushed back to December, and then it got pushed back to 2021, and we were like, what is going on? And finally, we get a break because Wonder Woman 1984 is going to release both in theaters and on HBO Max on Christmas Day.
Huge. That's huge.
Yeah, this is huge. It is huge, and I think it's huge for a lot of reasons. I'll speak personally, I was floored by this. I just never thought, I mean, this is an easy $1 billion movie here. So putting it on HBO Max with no extra cost, right, Kirk? There was nothing said about extra cost, right?
Nope, it is just going on the platform. Dunzo. You got a subscription, you're watching it.
I think that's crazy, man. And I know that HBO Max is a new platform, so maybe they're like trying to get subscribers to come to it still, and that's like enough incentive for them to bring it. But I feel very happy with this decision, and as an HBO Max subscriber, I am so thankful that they decided to give this to us, because it just feels like we're finally going to get another blockbuster movie, you know, except for just Tenet this year, and we can, you know, see one of these big superhero movies that has been very anticipated.
Definitely. It's going to be fantastic. We know that the real winner of the Chris Wars, Chris Pine, is going to shine.
The real winner. I love
that. The real winner, Christopher Pine, and of course Gal Gadot.
I think it's Gadot.
I'll never understand her name, but she's great.
I thought it was Godot for the longest time, like silent T, but I don't think so, because I think she's from Israel or something like that.
Yeah, Gal the Goat. We'll call her. No, that's
Gal the Goat. Not yet. She might be the goat someday.
You know what? I'm just going to call her Gal. Gal from now on. You know, Gal. She's just, she's the best gal, and there's no other gal like her. And this is groundbreaking, because how many others are going to follow suit that were pushed off and ready to roll? Like,
do you think others will? Do you think others will?
No Time to Die. I'm ready for you. I'm ready.
Man. So, No Time to Die. Oh, man. Actually, pain. So much pain. Because No Time to Die was supposed to come out tomorrow, Wednesday, November 25th. We had it marked on our calendars, Kirk, since the day that it was announced. I got the alert today and just died inside. I just died. I was like, this is... I am so sad.
Yeah.
And to get that alert this morning, I was just like, I might as well just pack it up. It's over for me.
Yeah, I've been working my way through the Bond films. I was getting ready. I was like, it's coming. It's coming. And then I was like, no, it's not. The date got changed, you know. So again, Sean Connery's reprise. And it's just
rest in peace.
Rest in peace indeed. It's just a sad day all around. I hope you have some good news coming up next because I'm getting pretty somber here.
Yeah, I mean, the Wonder Woman stuff was good news. I just like Bond. We're not getting Bond on streaming. It's just not happening. Like they tried to make that deal work and it didn't. Maybe they'll come back to the table if something happens. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Disney Plus has stuck their foot firmly in the ground and said no on Black Widow. We are waiting until May, which I'm like, I get it. Like, you want your dollars. And the vaccine news is promising, which is good. The vaccine news is very promising. It seems like vaccines will start rolling out soon, and even to people who are not in the high-risk category can start getting it like in the spring-ish time, which would be good. So maybe we will get to see Black Widow in theaters like normal people again. That would be great. And so I'll be happy when that happens, but for right now I just want it and I'm sad.
I still think that they could turn off the trial period on all streaming services and say, you want to watch this movie? Pay a month. And then you have that automatic month revenue. I feel like that's fair.
Yeah. I like that. I like that a lot, actually.
Yeah, you can even bump it by like $2 for the month that your big movie premieres. Not go crazy like the $30 Mulan experiment, but just like a few dollars and then go back to regular. And then maybe 4 or 5 months down the line, then you turn, subscription trials back on.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But
yeah, I can dig that.
They're not listening to this podcast yet. And
they're not,
we have all the
and
answers.
They should be, because we have we have the best ideas on here, and we should just, Bob Chapek said that he's the CEO of Disney, by the way. Sorry, he said that he was very pleased with the performance of Mulan on Premier Access, but didn't share any hard figures on how it performed. So that tells me it sucked. I think he's a liar.
Absolutely.
I'm calling you on your bluff, Bob Chapek. I don't want to hear it. You're a liar and a cheat. And you should just do what Kirk said and allow people to pay 1 month for this for Black Widow, and they'll probably stay. You know what I mean? Because I mean, Disney Plus already has 160 million subscribers or something like that. It's outrageous. So, like, they're doing fine. Just throw us a bone. We're so bored. We're so sad. Just give us something for once, Disney. Please. Okay. Speaking of Disney giving us something that we want, you ready for this, Kirk?
Yes, please.
Deadpool 3 is happening.
Hello.
Deadpool 3 is happening, which will mark Deadpool's long-anticipated entrance into the MCU. Maybe because he's a mutant and he's like heavily tied in with the X-Men in the comics. Maybe this is a way to bring some of those guys in. I'm pretty excited about that. The anticipation is that it will be R-rated, and I think that that's huge. I think it has to be. I think it absolutely has to be R-rated. I think I'm interested to see what Disney will do, but they don't have to put their branding on the movie. They don't with the Marvel movies. They just put the Marvel Studios branding on there.
Sure.
And so they don't have to be like Disney's Deadpool. You know what I mean? Like they can just call it Marvel Studios and like it'll be chill. And what I'm really excited about too is the Molyneux sisters who write Bob's Burgers are penning the script for this movie.
Oh, so, cool. Very nice.
I think it's going to be good. It's always good to get new writers in these franchises because they bring new ideas and new flavor, and those ladies are absolutely hilarious. Bob's Burgers is absolutely hilarious. So this is good news all around. I'm very excited to see what they do with Deadpool because I think it will be interesting.
This is a big moment for them because it was not up until, what was that, like 2002, 2003. The first Disney PG-13 movie was Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah. Wow. That's crazy to think about.
Yeah. And so knowing that, how cool would it be, and kind of appropriate 2020. It's we can get an R-rated movie from Disney. No big deal. And just as you said, just don't throw Disney at the front of it. Everyone will know that it's theirs, but you don't have to be like, gee, this is going to be like it's not a kid's.
Yeah, you don't have to put the mouse ears on it. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to.
I feel like there can be a lot of mouse jokes within the movie playfully somewhere.
100%. Right? In fact, if there's not, I'll be disappointed. And I'm sure that the Disney suits will hate that, but Ryan Reynolds can just stick his foot in the ground and be like, no, like these jokes stay because that's what we do. I hope that happens because that would be so great. And I'm so excited to see like Deadpool. At one point, I can't remember who said it, but it was during Comic-Con, I think in 2018, when somebody said that following Deadpool 2, Deadpool was almost as valuable a property to Marvel as Spider-Man, just as like a commercial property. So I feel like knowing that and knowing the kind of revenue potential that this movie could have, they're not going to waste their shot. Like, they're not just going to give us some episodic, like stand in place, tread water type of sequel. I think they're going to give us something big, and I hope they introduce some characters and just go all out.
They will. I believe in them.
It'll be exciting. Let's stay on the MCU side because there was some news here that I thought was pretty interesting. Kind of dropped a little bit quietly. Like they just like threw it into a Hollywood Reporter article. It was like Black Panther 2 is set to begin filming in July. Which is exciting news, obviously bittersweet news given the circumstances around Black Panther 2, and not having Chadwick Boseman around to play T'Challa and whatever. Like, that's going to be strange. And I was a little bit surprised to hear that like filming on that movie is happening so soon. Like, I'm kind of surprised that Marvel Studios didn't take a step back and like reevaluate, but they have a plan, I suppose, and I believe, well, I would expect that plan to heavily involve Letitia Wright's character Shuri. Mm-hmm. That's kind of the speculation right now. Maybe she will even become the Black Panther. We'll sort of see, but that movie is starting filming. And then here's a really interesting nugget. So Thor: Love and Thunder, the cast for that is growing. It was reported early last week that Chris Pratt is joining the cast as Star-Lord, which, given the way things ended with Endgame, probably means all of the Guardians are involved in some capacity. And then in that same report about Black Panther 2, they said that Thor: Love and Thunder will have, quote, an Avengers 5 feel, unquote, with a large cast. So who else do you think they're going to bring in the fold for Thor: Love and Thunder? Like, do you think it will be as big as Civil War?
It has to be. It has to be, because at this point in the MCU's career, you can't do origin movies as frequently because you have your whole ensemble that they've so perfectly interwoven and throughout all of the fabric of this story. So I definitely see another Civil War situation going on here with Thor, which is great because who else are you going to do it with? It was done through Captain America's story over and over again. So picking Thor, it's the perfect decision.
Yeah, he's really the sort of the elder statesman. You know, he's the one that stuck around. I think somewhat surprisingly. I mean, I personally kind of expected Chris Hemsworth to exit with the rest of them following Endgame, but he's around. I'm thrilled about it because I really think Thor as a character is just sort of reaching his full potential, starting with Ragnarok, going through Infinity War and Endgame. You know, those were really the best Thor movies that we got. And I think Chris Hemsworth has a lot more to bring to that character, and that Thor has a lot more to bring to the MCU. And I'm also glad to hear this because the one thing when they had that big announcement, remember last year, of all these movies that were coming, Blade with Mahershala Ali and like all the MCU shows, like when that happened, the one glaring omission in that was an Avengers movie.
Yes.
You know, there was no, here's where Avengers 5 goes in, you know, there was no slot for that. So I don't feel like the MCU can like you said, get by with a bunch of origin films and sequels for too long without having like a big group film. So maybe Thor Love and Thunder will be that big. Maybe it will be like an Avengers 4.5 or something like that, in the same way that Civil War was basically an Avengers movie.
I like that. And they have to build whoever the big bad is. They can't just
right.
I don't know. The stakes have to be so high, but those new stakes have to be crescendoed into the right way. So I really think with the rewrite, basically, of Thor's character, the redirect in Thor Ragnarok, I'm sure it gave Chris Hemsworth the charge that he needed as an actor and as an actor in this franchise to really say, I'm in. Sign me up for 10 more if this is the direction we go. God of Thunder, Love and Thunder is going to be Taika Waititi again, correct?
It sure is. Yeah, well, and that's a great call. I mean, I know that Disney likes to, or Kevin Feige likes to switch up the directors between sequels, but they know what they have in Taika Waititi. He's a huge name. He's, him and the Russo brothers and James Gunn are really like, they're big guys who can crank out amazing films, and so I think they need to hold on to Taika, and what he was able to unlock in Thor 3 was, like you said, a huge turning point for the character and one that excited a lot of people about Thor. So I think it's good to ride that wave and not really don't mess with it. Just leave it. Just leave it alone, because there's nothing wrong there, and they can do amazing things still. So.
And one last reminder: if Thor is on the bottom of your Avengers list, he can't be, but if he is, just watch the films, MCU films, in chronological order, not release date, but chronological timeline order, and you will find that Thor 2 is much more enjoyable on the second watching. It's still their worst. It's honestly still their worst, but it's not nearly as bad as it felt when you sat in the theater way back when. So
I agree. And it was good that they brought it into Endgame, because I think there needed to be some resolution to what they set up there, because a lot of it just frankly didn't make sense, but then it came full circle. And Thor's arc by the end of Endgame is just like chef's kiss. So good, so deep, so amazing. So yes, I agree.
Lightning eyes. Can you CGI the lightning eyes on me, please?
Not tonight. I don't have time.
I'm gonna make the Thor face.
In the future, Kirk. Yes. No, he's never made that face, I don't think. Okay. Last bit of news. Last what's poppin'. And it's more of a PSA, really, and like a finally, like a real finally, not like a Pink Panther finally. HBO Max is finally on Amazon Fire TV. And according to The Desk, which is an outlet I've not heard of before, but there are rumblings that AT&T and Roku are close to an agreement as well that would bring HBO Max to Roku. Mm-hmm. So, and just a reminder, the way that these deals work, my understanding of it is that they already, HBO Max already has these apps built out for these platforms. So as soon as the deal gets pinned, it's boom, it's on the platform the next day. That's what happened with Amazon Fire TV. And so I think that will be a similar case with Roku. And it better freaking come before Wonder Woman, or I'm going to lose my mind.
Dude, I've been... so I have 3 or 4. I don't know how many TVs are in this house. 7. No. I have 3 or 4 of the Fire TV sticks, and I have 1 Apple TV unit, and I've been moving that Apple TV unit 3 to 4 times a week, depending on where I'm going to watch television that night, trying to get HBO on, where I'm currently binging The Newsroom, and it's come on. So, the problem is that hypothetically, if you didn't actually own the subscription to your HBO Max,
yes,
can't actually watch without signing out and signing back into your entire Amazon Fire unit. I mean, that's a big deal. So
it is a big deal.
Whether they fix that or I get another Apple TV for Christmas, I'm ready for either solution.
They do need to fix that. That's outrageous. And like traditionally, HBO has been slightly more lenient on the password sharing because they charge a premium price for their platform. So I feel like they need to get that figured out because it's kind of a nightmare. And also like you said, you have like 5 streaming devices in your home. Like I have an iPad, iPhone, computer, you know what I mean? Like you could have one family, like truly one family using it and have 13 devices.
Correct.
So, I mean, like all those Amazon Fire TVs having to sign in every single time is outrageous. Like that is way too much.
Yep. I hope they fix it.
First world problems.
Yes, 100%.
But seriously, let's get real.
Fix it.
Okay, that's all I got for what's popping. That's all. We popped it up.
It's beautiful. Wonderful pops.
Nice and concise.
I like it.
But you know what time that means, Kirk? You know what time it is?
What time is it? As they say.
It's time for our mystery movie review. Kirk, are you ready to reveal what we're reviewing? Let me see if I have a sound effect for that. Hold on.
Okay.
Let me see if I have a sound effect.
Just press the button and see what happens.
Okay, let's try this.
That's beautiful.
What movie are we reviewing, Kirk? Tell the people.
We are reviewing On the Rocks.
Was that sound effect okay?
That's perfect. From Apple TV Plus.
Yes, an Apple TV Plus original film called On the Rocks, starring Rashida Jones, Bill Murray, Marlon Wayans, right?
That's right. That's right.
Is that the right Wayans brother?
That's the correct brother.
And Jenny Slate's in there a little bit, so that's what we're working with. Do you want to synopsis it? Do you want me to synopsis it?
Whose turn is it? Do you know?
It's been 4 weeks. It's over for me.
I'll synopsis it. It's very fresh in my brain. I watched it all the way up until we started recording.
Love it.
I heard something this past week about procrastination, and I found that speaking of self-help, I am an active procrastinator. So I find that I prioritize things in a way to put the most important things off at the end because I want to take the most time with them. I push them right up to the deadline because I know the pressure will make me perform better. So here's hoping that reflects in this episode.
There you go. Let's see.
On the Rocks. It is a wonderful portrait of a relationship, of a marriage who fall on hard times. They believe to have been rocked to their core. There is suspicion of betrayal from the husband's side, and Rashida Jones' father, Bill Murray, tries to take her on a journey of self-discovery and and trying to find out through their wonderful detective work if the husband really is cheating or if it's all made up in her mind.
Right. There you go. That was nice and concise, Kirk. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, so like we said, this is an Apple TV Plus original. So if you don't have Apple TV Plus, you can get a free trial, or like Apple was seemingly down to like give this out for free. I mean, they just like my subscription was supposed to be up in November, and then they were like, you get to have it till February. I was like, okay, I didn't ask for that, but sure, like that's totally fine. So yeah, I don't know if you like wrote them a nice email, they might be like, here's your free year of Apple TV Plus. I don't know. I mean, they seem like they really want people to have this platform. So there you go. Okay, Kirk, let's jump into our superlatives. Let's start with, and the Oscar goes to. Kirk, who are you giving your Oscar to for this film?
The man, the myth, the legend, Bill Murray.
Mr. William Murray. That's a great choice.
Dude, I feel like I know his filmography, but I don't really know Bill Murray. I've seen him in dozens of things. He's a superstar. He's large. He's been in so many different incredible franchises. When I see him in films like this, akin to like Lost in Translation, which was his big breakout, like, oh, he can dramatically act as well. There are moments in this film that you're just like, I could watch you all day. No matter what he does, I'm always enthralled by him. He's such a pro in front of the camera. Bill Murray wins all day for me.
Yeah, I think it's a good call. And I think as we get closer to award season, I sort of identify that as a performance that could be nominated just because Bill Murray really is always incredible. And I think he does better in dramatic roles. The movie you mentioned, Lost in Translation, with him and Scarlett Johansson, a fantastic film, also directed by Sofia Coppola, who directed this movie. So they have a nice history there. And I think she really got the best out of him as well. I went a little bit unorthodox on this one. And here's what I will say. While I thought that Bill Murray did the best job, I'm actually giving my Oscar to Rashida Jones, who played Laura and who was our leading lady.
Wow.
Because I feel like I have not liked Rashida Jones in many things. I just feel like I respect her as an actor, but I have been critical of her in the past and haven't generally liked the roles that she picked, or was chosen for, I should say. I just felt like this character, and it goes with the way that Sofia Coppola wrote this character as well, but it was very well suited for Rashida Jones, and I thought that she really performed incredibly well, and frankly much better than I anticipated, because it's just one of those things where I have like a mental block where I'm like, I don't usually like Rashida Jones and things, but in this I really liked her and I thought she did a great job. And I think that I don't have anything against Rashida Jones other than the characters that she plays I usually don't really like, and so I'm not drawn to their performance. But she did an incredible job of playing a mother of toddlers in this movie. I thought that was like really realistic and like showing what, like, and being a wife, and just like the realism in her performance I thought was really stellar. I thought it felt very authentic. So I have to give her kudos because I was surprised.
Rashida Jones is an interesting actor. She is Quincy Jones' daughter, famous musician, producer, and it doesn't make sense sometimes the roles that she gets cast in. She is. I feel that she's often miscast.
Yes, that's it.
On Conan O'Brien's podcast. And she was hilarious. She was very funny. She was very poised. And seeing that side of her pointed against the roles that she takes on, it's like, wait, do something closer to that. That's your wheelhouse. So miscast.
I know they always cast her as the straight man. Not the straight man, the straight woman in like comedies. And I don't feel like that plays, because she had that show that was sort of like an absurdist comedy that was on, what was it called? Amy Tribeca or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
What was that show called?
Angie Tribeca?
Angie Tribeca, yeah. Yep. And that was like really absurd. She really excelled in that show. I only saw a couple of episodes, but I thought she was very good. So I think that's what it is. Like, I don't have a problem with her as an artist. I just think that the roles that she ends up in are always odd choices and don't really suit her strengths. This one, I still feel like she was sort of typecast, but in a way that like felt very natural for her. Mm-hmm. Like it felt more real this time, and I didn't feel like she was trying too hard to be funny for a character that just like wasn't that funny. Like it just, I don't know, she stayed in her zone and built a character of her own that was very authentic. So
great.
Kudos to her. All right, let's move on to Scene Stealer, Kirk. Who have you got there?
This one was hard because I really just want to give everything to Bill Murray because
yeah,
he's just the best.
He is the best.
I'll say, I think the only other thing I've seen Marlon Wayans in might have been the Scary Movie franchise films. So
yeah,
which he's great at. He did a great job in this. I'm going to go Mr. Marlon Wayans for Scene Stealer. He was very charismatic. He was very well poised, believable. The only thing that was his shortcoming, which was not his fault at all, the the dialogue that he had was often just very flat. That he was just almost like marking time. Like, well, gotta get those ROIs up. You check out the followers, 500,000.
Oh, I know, dude.
It was bad. It was really bad. Like, oh yes, my account manager. Like everything was trying to mark time for between 2018 and now. And I despised it. But he was really working overtime trying to make it work, and I think he did. And I was happy every time he came back on screen.
Yeah, it was like and Sofia Coppola wrote this movie, but it was like, hire a consultant or something for that. I mean, like, he's a businessman. It's not really clear what he does at all. Like, no. At one point they're like they mention A24 in the movie, and A24 is the studio that, like, the indie film studio that fronted this thing. And so I was like, okay, so is that like meta, or is that some like made up company that you're calling A24 as like a Easter egg? Like, what is happening? And yeah, they have this really painful conversation in a taxi where he's like, man, things are going so great. The ROIs, the return on investments are so great. The impressions, man, you should see. I'm like, oh my gosh, dude. It's like somebody opened Investopedia for like 10 minutes and then wrote a script.
Sofia Coppola, like, what's so funny is because, like, you and I are very close to that world and that jargon. So to hear it used in such a weak manner, it's like, what are you doing? Like, stop. There's so many other industries and verticals that are like that, but specifically it hit home for you and I clearly. And I just, it had no direction, no motivation, no intent behind him speaking those. And I just, big miss right there on the screenwriters.
Yeah, and actually, like, Sofia Coppola, let's just go into Showstopper, and I'll kick us off because I actually put the dialogue down as my showstopper because I felt like the conversations between Bill Murray and Rashida Jones' characters were incredible, and the way that they... And I don't know if it was in the screenplay or not, but the way that it was paced out, the way that it was marked out, like, felt very real. And dialogue is such an incredibly hard thing to do. Even really good writers struggle with it from time to time. And so I really do feel like the Marlon Wayans, like, business stuff was the black spot on the dialogue, and that otherwise it was very good. And, like, for the like plot driving, theme driving dialogue between Rashida Jones and Bill Murray, it was really strong. And so for me, like, that relationship that they built, and I mean, I suspect some of it was improv too, but I just thought the dialogue overall, whether it was in the screenplay or it was improv, was done very well for the most part. So that's my showstopper.
Great. I imagine that the Bill Murray, Rashida Jones scenes were elevated because Bill Murray is an excellent comedian. When you're a comedian, you're a natural writer because you know how to tell a story, right? And Rashida Jones has a bunch of writing credits. She has documentary creds. She was a writer on Toy Story 4, so I think that when they're in a scene together, it's a good pairing, and I can see why they were probably cast together because of that. So agreed. Great showstopper. Mine is going to be how well they expressed the mundane world of Rashida Jones. Nailed it. There is probably a 5-minute straight section near the beginning of this film where we are just walking through just everyday life. And I've often said I want someone to make a movie where literally nothing happens. And I had no idea Sofia Coppola was going to be the one who did partial of that dream of mine, because, like, Rashida Jones is washing the dishes. She takes her kid to school. Completely uneventful things that happen. She's sitting at her desk. And she's like organizing for like 2.5 of those 5 minutes. I'm like, this is great. Keep going. And obviously it had to stop. It's not core to the point of this movie, but how mundane the movie was, and those completely just ridiculously boring moments, they made interesting. So bravo, big showstopper for me.
Yeah, that's a good one. I think that is a worthwhile observation, because they almost, like, There's this scene where Rashida Jones like lays in the bed and she's she's got her toddler there with her, and she's just like found something that leads her to believe that her husband is having an affair, and like in comes the Roomba robot, like the robot vacuum rolls in, and the camera like pans down, zooms in on the Roomba like clumsily hits into the wall and then hits into the wall again and then drives off. And it's like, I often find that that's a really funny observation about life, is like when you and your spouse or like you and your parents or somebody close to you are having like a really serious conversation, but like life continues to go on around you. Like your kid runs through the room naked, or like that stuff is so real and very hard to capture. But I think she did a great job. Sofia Coppola did a great job of capturing that as a director of this film.
Absolutely.
Good unlock there. Okay. Last one, director's shoes. Let's see what notes we have for Miss Coppola. Here's mine. I mean, I'm going to keep it simple, and it's just that this movie was really just kind of half-baked. I think there was something there. I think there was the start of a concept and the start of a theme, but everything stopped just short of coming full circle. The plot of the movie doesn't end up really providing any good resolution. The relationships feel inconsequential. The themes that get built are expected, so not surprising and not finished, by the time the movie ends. It's just like, it's predictable. It's just not original. I mean, it's not, I don't want to say not original, but it's not innovative or inventive. And it just doesn't really, at the end of the day, you're like, why was this piece of art put out into the world? Certainly it had good parts that were, interesting enough to watch, but what did it really do? Like, what was the point? And sometimes the point is that there isn't a point, but it was clear that there was supposed to be some sort of theme that was followed through here, and it didn't get there. It didn't cross the finish line. So that's really where I'm left, and I'm like, this thing just needed more time to cook.
Beautifully said. It really did.
Yeah.
My showstopper is also my director's shoes, because the whole feeling of the movie was mundane. I found myself picking up my computer and just scrolling. We got family pictures taken, and they arrived, and I was like, oh, I can look at this while I watch the rest of this movie. Nothing's really happening. Okay. Which was good. It was productive in that sense. But I found that you still had to be creative with those mundane moments, or find the catalyst to really trigger what goes from mundane to really the life back in Rashida Jones. I think that's a missed opportunity, which is kind of shocking for someone who's been in the business their entire life, Sofia Coppola, to see that she should have had like a perfect blueprint in her mind mapped out, and should have been able to work with the entire structure, the entire production of from lighting to costuming. And you see a little bit of it, especially with costuming and makeup, and it's like, you could have done better. You could have done better. So yeah, they missed the mark. They did.
Yeah, sure. Good call. So let's move on to overall thoughts and scores. For me, I think technically the movie is fine.
You're frozen.
Oh, I was frozen? I'm sorry.
Oh, you were. You're back.
You're back. Yeah, I could hear you. I could hear like a weird like boo, boo. Like it sounded like I was in a spaceship, so I don't know what happened
nice.
there. But anyway, for those of you not watching on video, Kirk was frozen for a bit, and I was probably frozen to him. But anywho, I just felt like maybe this movie is like more meaningful to Sofia Coppola herself, but it almost felt like we just like weren't in on it, and that like ultimately it didn't end up being as profound or as like impactful as it was meant to be. And so I think that sometimes you have an idea and you just get obsessed with the idea and it doesn't actually, like, it's not as good of an idea as you thought. And that's almost what this feels like to me. It's like, maybe she just like, this means something really profound to her, but not to everybody else. I don't know. So for me, I think the movie is technically fine. I don't have a ton of qualms with it. I thought there was some good acting. I thought there was some good writing from time to time, but it isn't enough to make a worthwhile, lasting impact or tell a complete story with nice, rounded out themes. And so for me, it's a 6.3 out of 10 kernels.
That's very nice of you.
You're up, Kirk. I'm feeling generous. It's Thanksgiving, for God's sake.
Oh, man. Well, that's not... kernel scores don't take a break, Cam, just because it's Thanksgiving. Don't...
All right, what you got?
Don't place your judgment on this because you just watched it. What if you watched it in award season, so... I think that it was a generally good idea that really could have been a little bit more artsy. It had the opportunity to. It had bright cinematography to do so. Had the right color filter, all that, and it really just missed the mark for me. It was brutal. It was brutal to watch. But because it was a pretty movie, it was pretty. The color palette was brilliantly done. I don't know who was responsible for that, but bravo. I don't have the attention to watch this again, but I could sit in the room of someone watching this for the first time and laugh every time Bill Murray is on the screen. So I'm going to give this a 4.7 out of 10 kernels.
Dude, you know what's hilarious?
What?
I never did my scene stealer.
Did I do mine?
You did. You did Marlon Wayans.
I did.
And I just like built on that and then went straight into Showstopper. Like looking at my notes, I'm like, man, I never talked about Jenny Slate. Jenny Slate was my scene stealer, by the way.
We've already passed that point of this program, Cam. We cannot go backwards.
I'm sorry. Anyway, all right.
Sorry,
Jenny Slate was my scene stealer. She was really good.
You.
I thought she was funny for like... She only got to talk for like 30 seconds total in this movie, but it was hilarious because she's funny.
She was very funny.
Wow, that was really rude.
Well, it was rude of you to betray the structure that we have built.
I didn't get to say it. I didn't get to say my piece, and you didn't catch it either. So,
well, Cam, whose fault is that? You have to stand your ground. You know what you should have been doing. You should have been exercising your announcing scene stealer. And my scene stealer today.
Well, I got carried away. Forgive me for being passionate about what we do, Kirk. Jeez.
Well, now I feel bad.
That's what you get. And it's Thanksgiving, Kirk. How dare you?
Come here, give me a hug.
No.
You can see that I'm
actually,
in my pajamas.
Now is the right time for us to argue about Thanksgiving sides. Are you ready for this?
Yeah, let's fight some more. I love it.
All right. Right now, what we are about to do, let me fill you in. For our game/schoolyard pick this year, or this year, jeez. This week, we are doing a bracket. You know I love brackets. Man, do I love a good bracket. But we're doing a bracket about Thanksgiving sides. Because hot take, turkey sucks. Okay? It's just fine. It's not like really good. Like, let's not pretend that everybody wouldn't be way happier if we were all eating fried chicken on Thursday.
All right, fair.
Than eating.
That's fair.
Yeah, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, turkey's fine, but it's not like a reason for a holiday. Like, we shouldn't all like stop what we're doing to eat turkey. Like, it's fine. Anyway, the sides are the real deal. The sides and the desserts, okay? But today we're talking sides because there are a crap load of different sides that show up at Thanksgiving, and so we are going to pit them against each other in a fight to the death to determine what our favorite Thanksgiving sides are. Are you ready, Kirk?
I'm ready.
All right, I've crafted a bracket by looking at quite a few different brackets across the internet while also thinking about things that are served at like our family Thanksgiving and people that I know's Thanksgiving. So People will be like, what are some of these things? Other people will be like, oh, how could you not have this? Listen, it's not a perfect science. Because the thing is, not very many people have 16 different sides at their Thanksgiving. So it was really hard to build a bracket of 16 different sides, but here we are.
I don't know, man. We have a lot of sides at our Thanksgiving.
We do have a lot of sides, but it's not like, I don't think it's 16. I don't know. We'll count. We'll count on Thursday. We'll see how many there are. Okay, here we go. Round 1, battle 1. And this should be a no-brainer. Mashed potatoes versus fruit salad. I mean, that's a joke.
Weak sauce.
I mean, sorry, fruit. Like, fruit's fine, but that, like, mashed potatoes is the GOAT. It's, like, one of the best.
Yeah, something that the listeners can't obviously see is that you've actually seeded each of the foods, each of the sides. And mashed potatoes is number 1, and fruit salad is 16.
It is. And that's not based on any science. That was totally objective and me just kind of like feeling it out. Like, what do people like and what do people not like? And I can tell you right now, if you put turkey and 16 sides on like a buffet and had people walk through and fruit salad was on that buffet, no one is leaving the first trip with fruit salad on there. Period.
No chance.
There is not one person who's doing it when there are mashed potatoes, dinner rolls, casseroles, deviled eggs, stuffing. Like, there's no way. There's no way.
If they do, I am suspicious of that person. You
should be.
Dr.
They're probably a communist.
Absolutely. Dr. Phil came out years ago with the criteria, proven criteria for a serial killer. One was wetting the bed. That's me. So the next one is fruit salad on your plate. The first trip from the Thanksgiving bar. So that's just scary, in my opinion.
It is scary. It is. I shouldn't have even put it on here because if somebody would have chosen it, that's an indictment on their character.
Are you going to share this to everyone, to all of our fans?
Probably. Yeah, I'll share it tomorrow.
Perfect. So if you put fruit salad, we will judge you. Just a heads up.
Hard. Okay. Matchup number 2. Green bean casserole versus cranberry sauce. What's your take, Kirk?
I'm not a big casserole guy. I would, if I had to stomach it, I would go for cranberry sauce. It's also left off the plate in my dinner. Sometimes it accidentally gets on. Like, I don't know how. Maybe there's like some other kind of dessert or something, but cranberry sauce wins this one for me.
I'm going to go the other side. I don't think I ever pick up the cranberry sauce, and I would definitely do the green bean casserole. I know that it's not like I've seen memes where people are like, whoever brings the green bean casserole sucks. I don't think it said exactly that, but you get the idea. But no, I'm going to defend green bean casserole. I'm down for it.
Good luck to your stomach.
Thank you, sir. Okay, next up, cornbread versus broccoli rice casserole.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I don't even know what broccoli rice casserole is. We have it every year, and I've never eaten it. Eaten it, not one time. I
just said I'm not a big casserole guy, but that thing is a beautiful work of art. It's
really.
It's if you're what's the word? If you're bad with textures when you eat.
Oh, me, yes.
Me too. And so, but it's very satisfying. It's very satisfying. Broccoli rice casserole wins in my book.
Wins over cornbread?
Dude, I gotta say, I don't like super dry things, and cornbread to me.
Oh man,
it's too dry for me.
But cornbread, I don't know.
My Irish glands cannot take it. They cannot digest it.
Don't blame your genetics on this.
I'm
taking cornbread. That's an easy one for me. Okay, next one. You'll have to help me with this, Kirk. Okay, so this one, dinner rolls versus deviled eggs.
Yes.
Do other people have deviled eggs at Thanksgiving, or is that just a my family thing?
No, on my side of the family, they have it as well.
Okay, cool. Because I didn't see it on any brackets, and I was like, man, we always have deviled eggs. I feel like that's like a thing.
Yeah, is that like a Midwestern thing, or
maybe
does it
is?
Extend?
I don't know. Maybe. Any of our listeners in other places, hit us up. We need to know because I don't want to be like I don't want to like indict myself by putting that out there.
Mm.
Anyway, dinner rolls versus deviled eggs. What's your take?
I've realized I'm being extremely contradictory from one option to the next, but I got to go dinner rolls because.
Well, see, but you said dryness, but like dinner rolls come with butter.
They come with butter. They're a little bit more moist than definitely more moist than the cornbread. So that's
how dare you speak that word that everyone hates. Moist. I actually don't have a problem with that word. I feel like that's just like a thing that came from How I Met Your Mother, and then everybody was like, yeah, I don't like that word, but I don't have a problem with it. It's fine.
Say it so I can say it on repeat.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me. I mean, it probably might be bad to listen to just in general saying moist over and over again, but I'm going to go dinner rolls, obviously. I mean, I know there are lots of people who are like big on deviled eggs, and that's fine. But good old-fashioned dinner rolls, like, don't overcomplicate it. They're yummy. You slap some butter on there, amazing. They're warm. Man, when you unfurl that, like, they're put in a basket and you like take off the little like napkin, like cloth napkin that's keeping them warm, and there's just like heat coming off there. Man, that's it. That's it for me. That's Thanksgiving right there. All right, next one.
Love it.
Stuffing versus scalloped potatoes. What you got?
Dude, this one's hard because I am only I've only been really eating stuffing consistently for, I would say, the past 5 years. I think I was afraid of it, but I've always eaten scalloped potatoes because, again, my Irishness requires it. If there are potatoes on the table, I must eat it. So I'm going to go with
scalloped potatoes. Wow, with the upset. I'm surprised by this. For me, it's stuffing, and it's not even close. I mean, stuffing, I love stuffing. I think it's so great. And I think it gets an extra edge because you just don't eat it really any other time.
True. That's very true. I would say scalloped potatoes come only into play in family reunions, Christmas, Thanksgiving. But I mean, stuffing does not happen any other time. You're absolutely right.
Stuffing is a one-shotter.
You could see a scalloped potato dish at a like a pot roast or potluck, not a pot roast.
Definitely like any sort of like church lady eating out of big aluminum tin things.
Yes.
Scalloped potatoes are going to be there. That's a guarantee.
Yep.
It's like that and that like mac and cheese thing that's like breaded, you know what I'm saying? Where you like.
Yes.
It's like a mac and cheese casserole or like baked mac and cheese or something like that. Like those are both guaranteed. Those are both guaranteed there. Okay, next one. I know you're a big veggies guy, so that's probably going to come out at some point.
Oh yeah.
Sweet potato casserole versus corn. And this to stipulate here, because I know that you can have sweet potato casserole with little marshmallows in it or without marshmallows. This could be either. So you could do either variant here.
Isn't that a fascinating dish?
Sweet potato casserole? Yeah, it's got the corn flakes on it. Yeah.
That someone at some point said, you know what would go really good with this? Let's throw in some marshmallows.
Well, it's sweet potatoes, though. I mean, it's sweet.
I don't get that. I'm going corn. I love vegetables, and there's something, I don't know if it's made differently. Maybe because it's probably real and not a frozen bag. On Thanksgiving, you're trying to class it up a bit more. You have more time because you're cooking all.
Well, it's still probably like out of a can, though. I don't think anybody's like shucking it.
Right? There's something different about Thanksgiving corn, and I need to ask what that is. Why it tastes.
Here's what you do: you take the full stick of butter. Whenever you put the corn in the microwave, you take a full stick of butter on Thanksgiving. It's like YOLO. You just put the whole thing on there and press the express cook. And it's on.
I love it.
I think that's the key. I'm taking sweet potato casserole, Kirk. I feel like we've been on opposite ends of the spectrum all night, but I'm going sweet potato casserole. Let me tell you, it took me a while to come around on sweet potatoes, but I'm all in on sweet potato anything. Sweet potato fries. That's really it. Sweet potato fries. Sweet potato casserole, that's the end of the list. I don't know if there are other things other than just like straight sweet potatoes, but I'm here for it. I've had whipped sweet potatoes before that are like mashed potatoes, but they're sweet potatoes. I like all of it. I like it. It's just good.
Well, I'm just a purist. I just have to have my potatoes.
Yeah, you could have had Thanksgiving with the Pilgrims, I think.
I could have
at Plymouth Rock. Yeah.
Absolutely, they would have welcomed me. Yes,
you would have liked the fare there. Some corn, some I don't think they had broccoli rice casserole
at that point, right?
Yeah, I think you would have fit right in. Scalloped potatoes, Mm-hmm. Okay, next one. And I have a bone to pick with this one too, to be honest.
Okay.
Mac and cheese versus candied yams.
That's no contest.
I'm just gonna say it's mac and cheese.
That's it. That's the only answer.
Right. That's the end of the discussion.
That's as suspect as if the fruit salad discussion. If you picked candied yams, I don't know that I could sit next to you.
No. And here's the thing. And this is what makes me. I went back and forth about including mac and cheese because let's face it, mac and cheese is an elite side. It might be the chief lord of all sides, just in general. Not even just thinking through the lens of Thanksgiving. I mean, mac and cheese is elite. Okay, but I don't feel like we usually have it at Thanksgiving, and I also don't. It's definitely not like a Thanksgiving only thing. In fact, I more closely associate mac and cheese with 4th of July, actually.
Okay.
So that's where it gets tough for me. I think in the later rounds we might see some difficulties with the mac and cheese. So
that's a good call out. That's a good call out. As mac and cheese is my son's favorite food.
Yeah, sure.
He has it for meals many times a week, and so I will use it as my side. So Aubrey has created this beautiful oven baked, seasoned chicken tenderloin and whatever, potatoes and green beans, and then I'll throw on some mac and cheese on the side of that.
Yes.
It's a wonderful palate. It's very full. It's very full.
Yeah, lots of different things going on there. I like it.
That's my
okay. Last one in the first round. Gravy versus green beans.
Dude.
And yes, for all of you who are yelling at your sets, gravy is its own side because gravy is not just an addition to mashed potatoes. It can be an addition to pretty much anything.
Mm-hmm.
You can dip your turkey in it. You can dip anything in it.
You could dip your dinner roll in it.
Sure.
You can, for the weirdos, you can dip your fruit salad in it if you so choose.
Yeah, if you want to get wild, I mean, let's get nuts. It's Thanksgiving.
This one was really tough for me.
Okay.
I just want to say that I'm a little mad that this pairing happened the way it did.
I'm sorry.
Because
you'll have to talk to the committee about that. I don't know. I don't know who they are, but that's a bone to pick with them.
Yeah, because I love both of these. So you pick first. I'm not done deciding. You pick first.
I chose green beans. I don't like gravy because it gets everywhere, all over my plate. I don't want it all over my other foods. And I can eat mashed potatoes without the gravy. I don't need it. So for me, it's got to be green beans. It's my favorite vegetable. Are they vegetables? Are they legumes? How's that? I don't know.
Vegetables.
Well, let's just call it a veggie. It's my favorite veggie, green beans. So I'm going with them.
I will say that I also chose green beans, and I'm going to stick with it. I have it written down here as proof. I'm not writing anything at this moment. And even though gravy is delightful and it enhances everything, and I agree that it is its own side, green beans wins for me too. Okay.
Wow. All right, we made it through round one. Let's fire through let's get to a winner here. Let's go through it. So my first matchup is mashed potatoes versus green bean casserole, and I'm going mashed potatoes. What about you, Kirk?
Same thing, mashed potatoes and cranberry sauce. Mashed potato wins.
Yeah. Next for me is cornbread versus dinner rolls, and I'm going with dinner rolls.
Very nice, very nice. Broccoli rice casserole versus dinner rolls. Dinner rolls wins for me.
All right, so we've got the same one and two there in that section.
Yes.
Next up for me, I got stuffing versus sweet potato casserole, and I'm taking stuffing.
Oh, I've got scalloped potatoes and corn. I'm going with the corn, Cam.
Corn. All right. This is where it gets tricky. I've got mac and cheese versus green beans. I believe you have the same matchup.
Exactly.
This is so hard because I just don't associate mac and cheese with Thanksgiving. And so for me, I'm like, yes, mac and cheese is delicious. How could I not choose that? But at the same time, the category is Thanksgiving sides. And that is just not my truth. It doesn't. I wouldn't be living my truth if I chose that.
Speak your truth.
I'm choosing green beans.
I as well.
Wow, big upset there. I feel like people are going to be mad about that. But listen, if you have mac and cheese on your Thanksgiving, that's fine. That's between you and the Lord. Okay, you can have that, and it's fine. But that's just not my Thanksgiving, all right? Mm-hmm. And that's fine. To each their own.
We still accept you. We just don't agree with you.
That's right. All right, here we go. Here's the semifinals here. You and I both have mashed potatoes versus dinner rolls.
Yes.
And this is incredibly tough. Incredibly tough.
Yes, this is seat 1, seat 5 for these layouts here.
Yes, yeah. 1 being the mashed potatoes. What's your pick, Kirk?
Mashed potatoes.
Oh, I thought you might. I gotta go dinner rolls, Kirk.
Oh,
I gotta go dinner, and I love mashed potatoes. I really do, but I think I gotta go dinner rolls.
Wow.
It's just speaking to me. It's just speaking to me right now.
Wow.
If I ask myself, what am I more excited for on Thursday? It comes down to the dinner rolls between those two.
I am often the last one through the Thanksgiving line on both sides of the family because my potato consumption is obnoxious. And I made that clear because I know myself. And I say, listen, everyone else go. I will grab all the remaining mashed potatoes after you have all enjoyed part of it. So I just want to put that on the table. Mashed potatoes is love, and I love mashed potatoes.
All right, man. I love it. Good self-awareness there. I really like that.
Thank you.
Okay. Now I've got stuffing versus green beans. You've got corn versus green beans?
I do, yes.
Okay. I'm going with stuffing.
Holy moly.
I'm going with stuffing.
Wow.
And I have zero regrets about that. I think that it was time for green beans to leave the table. It made a great run, but it's over.
Well, on my table, Cam, it's still on. I'm going green beans beats out
corn. Whoa. All right. So then we've got the finals. We've got the finals here on my end and on your end. Kirk's frozen. Kirk, can you hear me? Hold on. Can you hear me, Kirk? You're frozen.
We're back.
You're back. All right. We're back. We better finish this episode before Skype sabotages us any farther. Okay, here we go. We've got... I wonder if the people can hear that. Like, wow. That'll be fun to see if they can hear the the spaceship noises. They can definitely hear my panicking every time it freezes, but that's not as fun. Okay, finals. On your end, if I remember correctly, you've got mashed potatoes versus green beans. On my end, I've got dinner rolls versus stuffing.
You do.
Who wants to go first? You want me to go first?
Go ahead, Cam.
All right, I'm going to say what I picked, and I'm going to say my logic behind it. I'm choosing stuffing, and that is because it is delicious. It is truly a Thanksgiving thing. When people think of Thanksgiving, they think about the turkey, yes, but right next in line, I think is the stuffing, and I think that's not the only deciding factor, but it is a big one for me. And so the fact that it is extremely delicious and also really unique to Thanksgiving, it has to be the winner for me. It's stuffing all the way.
That's fair. It's wrong, but it's fair. Mine.
Wow. Okay. All right, Kirk, I see you.
My final pick No contest. It had it from the start. It won before this bracket began. Mashed potatoes.
Yeah, the winner for now and for always in your heart, Kirk, is mashed potatoes. Well, that's great.
I know it's
shout out to Green Beans who made a really nice Cinderella story kind of run in both of our brackets. So it's the underdog. Everybody wanted the underdog to win, but it's at the end of the day, it's the 1 and 2 seeds that come out on top. Mashed potatoes and stuffing. It's just how it had to be.
Just like that. It's 11:45 right now, and I wish that I could go upstairs and make some mashed potatoes. I would just
no one's stopping you. No one. Yeah, that's what we would call a limiting belief. You're thinking to yourself right now, it's 11:45. I can't make mashed potatoes. Yes, you can. Who says you can't? No one. No one says you can't. So just live your truth, Kirk. If mashed potatoes are in your future, then so be it. Go with peace, my friend.
I love it.
All right, that's all we got. That was a truly preposterous episode, but it was good. It was a Thanksgiving special. On the Rocks is like vaguely a Thanksgiving movie in the sense that, like, it's a dad and mom or dad and his daughter having like a family moment. I don't know. It's a reach, but that's what we picked. Okay, it's slim pickings.
Yeah.
I've got no real updates for you other than check this out, Kirk. I was finally writing the blog for
the
Deer Hunter after all these weeks. It's literally been 2 months. I finally started writing it. I closed my laptop because WordPress always saves drafts. I was 70% of the way through it. It's gone. It's completely gone. Yeah. Nothing.
I'm speechless.
And so I'm like, I used to write them in Word first for exactly this reason, and I didn't because they did such a good job with saving drafts, and now I hate everything.
Man. All right. Well,
so that blog will be coming at some point, and I'm going to
in 2021, we will see.
Yeah, we'll finally get my thoughts on the Deer Hunter in 2021.
Week 4.
No, it's week 8. It's week 8, you jerk. It's week 8, but it's month 6 or something like that.
Listen, I have no stones to throw. James Blonde is still in the works.
Yeah, James Blonde is still not a thing. These will be the things that we always talk about but never actually happen. But for real, I'm committing myself back to the 52-week movie challenge. I've had a rough go. Once I get this Deer Hunter one out the door, even though WordPress is sabotaging me right now, I'm going to be cranking them out, all right? I'm going to be cranking them out. So just stay tuned for that. The website, popcorn4breakfast.com, is up to date with all of our latest episodes, videos. I did that earlier this week, so all of our stuff is there. Check us out on social. We need you guys. We love you guys, and we know that the internet is boring and negative sometimes, but we are not. We're fun. And because there's like no movie news, I feel like we never talk to you guys anymore. And it makes me sad because we don't have as many movies and we don't have as many episodes, but we miss you and we want to talk to you. So check us out on social. Other than that, Kirk, I've not got anything else. Do you have any other announcements for us?
I've got nothing. Literally nothing. And I hope that changes. I'm excited to catch up on all of these things I haven't been able to watch. Had a very busy schedule.
Yeah, buddy.
But
that's all right.
I'm excited to really get some downtime on Thursday. Yeah.
Yes, sir. That's right. Have a wonderful, magnificent Thanksgiving, everyone. Hopefully you have found a way to still connect with your family in a safe way, even though COVID sucks and is ruining everything all over the place. We wish you the best on your Thanksgiving. We are thankful for all of you and your contributions to this podcast. And we're thankful for our executive producer, Ryan Spriggs, who helps us produce this podcast. And we are thankful for Rhetoric, who made our original theme music. We will talk to you guys in a couple of weeks.
Goodbye.